So after communicating with the angelic realm for years, I finally approached them and said, hey, how come you guys never mentioned the subject of sin? And they said, sin doesn't exist. Like, what do you mean it doesn't exist? It's all over the Bible, dude. And they said, Jesus died and saved you from original sin, so there is no sin anymore. And I said, well, what about confession? And, because I'm a practicing Catholic, so what about the whole concept of sin and having those, marks against you and being able to go to confession and erase the chalkboard? And they said, not going to happen. I said, what do you mean not going to happen? And they said, karma. You made that free will decision to commit that act. So if I murder somebody or lie to somebody or make a free will decision that negatively affects them, maybe I decide to drink and drive and then I accidentally hit somebody, my free will decision is my right. I have that freedom. I have that free will to make that decision to get in my car and do that. But my free will decision has consequences, also known as karma. If I mow somebody down with my car, my karma is now out of balance with that particular individual. And so it's the universe's responsibility to balance out that imbalanced karma between me and this other individual. So you see how we have free will. So we have the power to make those decisions, but our free will has consequences both for ourselves, because I'll end up in jail for involuntary manslaughter or whatever, or whatever the charges for that. And then the other person, they suffer the consequences of me hitting them. Maybe I put them in a wheelchair or whatever. So you see how that's an example of how karma is in effect with universal energies, as opposed to me just going to confession and let's just erase the chalkboard. I can confess mowing that person down with my car all day long. I can tell God I'm sorry. I can tell that person I'm sorry. I can grab onto their leg and beg for forgiveness. I can buy them a new house. I can buy them. I can buy them whatever. I could become their slave or whatever. It doesn't matter. Universal energies are going to take care of the karmic imbalance between the two of us. Karma is defined by Merriam-Webster online as the force created by a person's actions that some people believe causes good or bad things to happen to that person. Yep, karma exists. The internet also says that it's in Hinduism and Buddhism, and that's fine. But it's also a fact. Since I just happen to be a source of truth for people, this isn't really up for opinion, judgment, or debate. Karma exists. And one of the reasons why I decided to make this video was not to be like this and say, oh, you're going to get punished, but to actually let people know that the universe is more fair than you think. Just so you know, when you think no one's watching, Big Brother's watching. And he's got a pair of glasses on, a pen, and a clipboard, and he's writing down everything. So the other side sees everything, they know everything, they can see all aspects of your soul, your actions, your words, your thoughts, everything. So Big Brother can be good and bad, but I would actually hope that you'd be comforted knowing that there's somebody watching you. Because, if your elderly mother or father has dementia and needs help taking a bath, while you're giving him a bath, someone's watching. They're taking notes. That's the good karma that you're releasing into the atmosphere when you think nobody notices. They do. So keep up the good work. All right. Number 1. What goes around comes around. Basically, this relates to everything I just said. Is the universe is more fair than we think. They're watching. Did you just invent something that positively affects the masses? That's the signal you're broadcasting. You just fed the collective consciousness, because we're all connected as souls via one big collective consciousness. It's called the higher self. It's on Wikipedia if you want to look it up. I'm a lower self because I'm immortal. This part of my soul lives inside a mortal body, but I have another part of my soul that lives on the other side that's flapping around all over the place, doing good things, called the higher self. So you can look that up on Wikipedia. I have a couple other videos about the higher self as well, in case you want to watch those. So If you feed into the collective consciousness rewards you. Everyone in that collective consciousness, which means everyone in existence, turns around and says, hey, thanks for that. Thanks for, inventing the iPhone. You really made my life easy. I love you. And then you get rewarded with that good karma of helping out so many people because you just fed the collective consciousness with your invention. If you just helped a bunch of people, universal energies are going to rise up to support you in that life purpose, in that effort. You're going to get rewarded for that, either in that area of your life, another area of your life, maybe your love life. Maybe they'll bring a soulmate forward because you spend every weekend doing volunteer work, right? Because you get rewarded for your efforts. But I'll get into that a little bit later. That's called power manifestation. All right, number 2, that's why the more the better. The more good deeds you do, the better. Why? Because I want your karma bank to be bursting with fruit flavor. I want it to be full. I want your karma bank to be so robust so that when you ask for something, you get it. That's one of the most important things is power manifestation. Are you asking the other side for a soulmate? Write down a list of all the qualities you want in a soulmate and put your order in with the other side. Say, you know what? I feel like I have good karma. I feel like I've, done my part to help others. I would like to put in a request with the universe and ask you to bring my soulmate forward. I did a couple readings last week where I had the privilege of telling people their soulmates were about to show up onto their path. And you know what they had been doing? They've been praying for them. They've been fantasizing about their perfect mate. They've been manifesting them, writing lists, dream journals, you name it. And they had actually manifested these people to show up onto their path. So those are some great readings, and it was pretty beautiful energy for me to tune into and say, hey, wait a minute. You manifested this for yourself. And they're like, uh-huh. So just so you know, the more the better. Ask and you shall receive, because the universe pulls off of that little karma bank of yours when you ask for things. When I was back in marketing and just chasing the dollar, I would ask for stuff and it would fall on deaf ears. I wouldn't get anything. Like nothing. And I would get nothing I asked for. And they were literally like, hey, maybe you should stop chasing the dollar and start doing heart-focused work and helping people, and maybe we'll listen to your requests. So karma makes a big difference when it comes to putting in those requests with the other side. It's your personal power. How much do you have? How much are you giving? You get what you give. What goes around comes around. The more the better. What are you putting out there that empowers you to put in those requests and to ask the other side for things in return? Now, I'm not asking you to come from a place of self-interest like, I'm going to start doing volunteer work every weekend just so I can get a soulmate. That's not how it works, because they can see all aspects of your soul, so they can see your intentions. If your intentions aren't pure, they're not going to like that either. So don't give to get. Be pure. Come from a place of heart. If you literally burst into tears every time you see those animal rescue commercials, that's coming from a place of heart. Go work at an animal rescue on the weekends then, because you're obviously passionate about that cause. Okay, karma, number 3. It's not meant as punishment, although you might think it is. This is the bad side of karma. I talked about the good side, right? Now I'm getting to the bad side. If you do something wrong, what happens to your karma? Karma in general is not meant as a punishment. It doesn't mean God hates you. It doesn't mean he's trying to kick you or slap you or knock you down. It is meant to teach, to show, to help you grow and evolve as a soul, to help you learn lessons, etc. It is not meant to punish. It is meant to teach you, to show, so that you learn the lesson and don't repeat the same mistake. So, how does God do that? How does God take your soul and say this person needs to learn X, Y, and Z because they just committed this horrific act and this soul needs to learn? So, what are we going to do? He's going to mess around with your power. There's going to be a reversal of power. If you wronged a certain individual, where perhaps you were in a position of power over them and you were their boss or whatever, and you just totally took advantage of your power and just abused them and treated them like crap every day, universal energies might rise up to support that employee and put them in a position of power over you. Maybe they have to speak for you one day. Maybe they bury you in their exit interview. That's a perfect opportunity of reversal of power, where the boss is now put in a position under the employee because in their exit interview they just bury you and say that the entire time they were employed there, you embarrass them, you abuse them, you weren't fair, whatever. So do you see how that reversal of power? Just want to let you know, that's not an accident. That's universal energies rising up to support the employee and putting them in a position of power over you. Now, maybe you're going to be more sensitive to the next employee that's under you because you were in that precarious position and you were vulnerable and you did learn from that. So that's what the other side is hoping, is that because they put that person in a position of power over you, you actually grew and evolved as a soul and you learned from it. Okay, so that is one method the other side will use for karma, is reversal of power. What's another method that they use? Truth. If you insult somebody's truth, that's some bad news. I was on the internet and I saw a member of the Westboro Church wearing a sweatshirt that says "God hates fags." And I immediately cringed when I saw that. What would the other side do with somebody like that? When that woman passes in her next life, she's going to come back and her truth is going to be that she's a homosexual. She is going to be placed in a homosexual's shoes in her next life, and that truth is just going to keep bubbling up and bubbling up and bubbling up like a pot on the stove. Because she can suppress and push down that truth all she wants, but it's just going to keep bubbling up and bubbling up and bubbling up because it's part of her soul, it's part of her truth in that respective lifetime. So the other side, bam! Oh, I shouldn't shake the camera. Whoops, sorry. Bam! The other side has just slammed you into that person's shoes because you were making fun of them for speaking their truth. Because the truth just is, it's an absolute. So if you're, a homosexual, that's your truth. It just is. And so those truths should be, respected because the differences between us are beautiful and unique, not tolerated or, put up with. But those truths should be respected because those people are shining the most authentic light and their souls are growing and evolving as a result of speaking their truth. So that's a big no-no. I definitely would not insult somebody's truth. Okay, and then because you'll get the same truth. Now another thing is that they will have you switch places, and I discussed this earlier, where you just change seats. If you are abusing animals in this lifetime, in your next lifetime, they might have you come back and incarnate as an animal who lives on a farm and is abused in the same way or whatever. So your soul has soul memory from this life, past lives, whatever. So your soul is going to remember being in that position, and your soul will learn and grow and evolve as a result of living that life as an animal and being in those animal shoes that was in fact abused. So switching place is pretty strong. Now again, is that person going to view it as punishment? Oh yeah. Is it meant to be punishment or is it meant to teach and show? You decide. But it doesn't mean God hates you. Okay, now another thing that's really interesting is there's karma that's just in relation. I mean, basically everything I've been stated is pretty related, but there's related karma where suppose I use my throat chakra, my energy center in my throat that represents overall personal expression and communication. What if I use my throat chakra for evil? Like I just speak falsities all day long, speak evil all day long. What if I come down with throat cancer? Because I just energetically attracted darkness to my throat energy center. So do you see how you could end up having throat problems? I could lose my voice or whatever. So you could attract darkness to that respective body part, to where whatever karmic issues you're having are related to that energy center that you're using. And then another part of that is, if you make fun of somebody who has like multiple sclerosis or something, maybe talk about them behind their back and say, wow, he's really weak. That guy certainly can't handle very much. It's like, I would just, continue working. I think he's just being a big puss. It's like, yeah, he has multiple sclerosis, but, sack up. What's the big deal? So that is negative energy that you just attracted to yourself by talking smack about this person who's struggling with multiple sclerosis. So, bam. surprise, you get diagnosed with multiple sclerosis yourself. So do you see how karmically you attracted that negative energy onto your path? You could get diagnosed with it yourself. These are just examples. Another thing is that you might not even be aware of what's going on. You might not be paying close enough attention. You're just living your life, just kind of like whatever. But there have been a few moments in my life where I've stopped and thought, yep, that's karma. That's karma coming back. So people do take pause and take note. I mean, people do notice things. Because like I said, karma can be both good and bad. You're owed the good karma. That's actually what I end up saying a lot in readings. And sometimes I'll just be reading for somebody who's very sweet, good-hearted, kind of shy and meek, and afraid to ask for things. And I'm like, you ask. You ask for things. Do it. You have great karma. I can see it. Go cash it in. So a lot of times people have to be encouraged to cash in that good karma. So again, karma isn't always bad, right? Go spend it. Go to the karma bank. Spend it. Cash it in. On the flip side of that is that I have seen certain situations where, I've looked at people and been like, God, how does everything constantly work out for that guy? Like, how does evil prevail? And I realized that I don't know everything. I don't know every detail about his life. There could be a lot of stuff going on with his love life or, personal life at home, whatever. I have no idea what's truly, truly going on with somebody below the surface. So that's why I encourage you guys to, be empathetic towards others, because you never know what's going on with particular people. And, I'm just saying, the universe is a lot more fair than we think. When you're thinking evil prevails, maybe it's not. Maybe that person has, personal struggles going on at home that you don't know about. But the universe has an incredible way of balancing out those energies. Another thing is that they're saying, don't take it personally. Like I said, God doesn't hate you. It's really meant to help you grow and evolve as a soul. Why? Because our souls are all here to gain virtues. Why are we here to gain virtues? Because it brings our connection even closer to the God energy. We are all connected to the God energy. We're all part of it. How closely are we connected to that God energy? We have to be an energetic match for him in order to be on his level. And so that's how we grow and evolve and climb that little ladder and gain virtues. So that's essentially what you're experiencing with this karma, is these lessons that you're learning. You're gaining patience, kindness, unconditional love, etc. from these trials and tribulations and these challenges that you're facing. So this actually is done out of love so that you can get closer to the God energy as an energetic being. Because you do have to be energetically compatible for God, and you do that by gaining virtues, because the God energy is the most virtuous soul in existence. So another thing that they wanted you guys to also be aware of is that not everything is karma. Along the lines of what I just said, that we're here to grow and evolve as a soul, is, suppose you have a child that's born with Down syndrome. So you're sitting there like, oh, I have bad karma, I have bad karma. My child is sick, or, whatever. It's like, no, your child was born with Down syndrome in order to teach everyone around them. So that soul with Down syndrome is learning and growing and evolving as a soul from having that personal experience, and everyone around him or her is growing and evolving as a soul. They're learning patience, kindness, unconditional love, you name it. So not everything is karma. A lot of times it's good old-fashioned soul's growth and lessons being learned. Speaking your truth, Caitlyn Jenner, her truth was very difficult to speak, which is why she suppressed it for so long. But now she admits she's the happiest she's ever been because she grabbed onto her truth and wrote it straight through. So she had all this mud thrown under her windshield. She wiped it off and kept going. So that is not considered negative karma for her. That is actually her being a beacon of light and letting everyone know that if you do grab onto your truth and follow it and hold tight with both hands, everyone benefits. Everyone around her benefits. They grow and evolve. Caitlyn Jenner's soul grows and evolves because her soul's being challenged. So it could just be good old-fashioned soul's growth and lessons that need to be learned. It's not everything is a karmic balancing. So I guess that's why I encourage you guys to cast love and light at everybody's souls, friends, family, loved ones, maybe not so loved ones, because we are all connected and we're all in this together, like it or not. So universal energies have a way of balancing things out and making things more fair than we realize. So I encourage you to be loving towards everyone, because we're all in this together and we are all fighting the battle of good versus evil. And in the meantime, take care and be well. Thank you.